disturbing. Terrible. There are so few godlike remaining, and you are a stranger even among your own kind.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Obsidian surprised everyone in 2019 with The Outer Worlds, a sci-fi RPG that was not that big in size, but much better than big AAA projects such as Fallout 76.
16 times the detail.
Spicy detail, Obsidian is also the creator of masterpieces like Fallout New Vegas. The fact that the talented studio could make much better games with much smaller budgets was painful to see for publishers like Bethesda, and not only is there already a second Outer Worlds in the making, Obsidian also announced Avowed in 2020, a game that, as it seemed in the trailer, looked like a new Elder Scrolls. By the way, the trailer did look like this.
It forged our empire. Turned heroes into...
And this is what the game looks like now. But hey, a style adjustment doesn't have to be bad. Borderlands has proven that, for example. With Microsoft's backing and the talent of Obsidian, this could not go wrong. And also day one on Game Pass. I started playing Avowed with great enthusiasm. And if you expect me to tell you how awesome it was, well, you will be disappointed. Because Avowed has become a huge disappointment, a standard 7.
Andre's titties.
And if that is all you wanted to know, then I thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But if you still want to know more about this game and why it's so mediocre, then let me tell you.
Hello. What's wrong with her voice?
In Avowed, you play as an envoy of the Adir Empire in the form of a character that you can create and customize yourself. This character creator is actually quite okay, with quite a few possibilities, even though some presets of the godlike features seems like you are a clicker from The Last of Us. Oh, and if I can bitch about something else, and yes I can, why am I allowed to choose a voice for my character while my character has none, and I do mean none, spoken dialogue?
That doesn't make any sense.
Once you have finished your character, you will enter the world of Eora. To be precise, in the region of the Living Lands, where a mysterious disease is raging, called the Dream Scourge. You have to investigate this as an envoy of the Empire, but you are also a godlike, touched by the gods, and those gods appear to be responsible for the Dream Scourge, and you must therefore help the gods who are also telepathically in contact with you, so that you can stop this disease. You do this together with some companions who you'll come across and who will support you in this quest, and they have all their own skills and abilities. Some can help you by healing in battle, others can create passages by burning thorn bushes with fire. These companions can all be upgraded and have their own quest lines, but not every character is written equally interestingly. In fact, I actually only found Yatsli somewhat interesting and nicely written. I often found the other characters just to be a bit whiny, pessimistic assholes that I didn't feel like chatting with at all. And that chatting really happens a lot. So much and so often with uninteresting text that I quickly started skipping through it. The gods, who come to bother you almost every night when you're in bed in your camp, don't help either. Fortunately, you often get the option to just ask the gods to fuck off because you want to sleep, which is nice.
That's a good idea.
You also have to make quite a few choices in the story, and they really do make a difference to the outcome. But because the story in general didn't appeal to me that much, I didn't really care for the possible outcomes. And of course, there are some cool characters, factions and quest lines along the way during the many quests and side quests, but it's not really interesting enough for me. And there too, the dialogues are not always that fun. Of course, there are some positive exceptions.
Dumb? Dead? That's how you tell someone their twin brother is dead? What is wrong with you?
But too often it is annoying, boring, and sometimes it seems as if the characters have watched the episode of Sarcastaball of South Park a little too often.
Oh, you're back. Something illegal in the only town for miles? You should sign up for the Tiranui. We could use smart folks like you. I'm sure something untoward is happening, but I can't do anything without proof.
Brilliant deduction, Constable. You're a credit to law enforcement.
Yeah, well, thank you for being such a good citizen. Make sure to come back once you've got something I can actually work with. Well, off you go then. Back to killing things and leaving me alone.
I love Sarcastaball.
The gameplay on the other hand is quite fun. You can choose from multiple playing styles and spend your skill points accordingly. For example, you can go all out on magic or all out on archery, but you can also play hybrid. I ended up playing as a hybrid wizard, but one who could switch to a shield and mace when it became close combat. And that was really cool. Experimenting with different weapons is also a lot of fun because of this. The fact that you can easily and relatively cheap respec yourself with in-game currency helps a lot with this. However, things also go a bit wrong in the combat, which is, I repeat, very fun. The game is tough at times, but not because the enemies have big variety with cool AI and which all require different tactics to defeat. No, it's more difficult because the game just keeps firing a shitload of enemies at you to make it difficult for you, which all feel like bullet sponges. The AI doesn't do anything special either, they just run towards you and deal damage. And that also results in stupid situations where you can just stand on the other side of a cliff and then enemies that run towards you just jump to their own deaths. Kijk dan.
What the hell?
Also, using the skills of your companions in combat works a bit clunky. You have one under the hotkey and the rest requires a bit more work. And although you can manage it quite well, it doesn't work as smoothly as, for example, Dragon Age the Veilguard. And what I find also annoying is that at a certain moment you are forced to use certain companions. Like here where Marius was absolutely necessary. While I much prefer to play with Jada and Yatsli in my party. Dragon Age the Veilguard did this too, but they told you at the beginning of the quest who was required to join. In this case I had to go back all the way to the camp to switch and back to the quest marker. And that was downright annoying to say the least.
It appears to be locked, somehow. Marius would know how to get inside.
And there are more weird things in the gameplay. For example, you are apparently allowed to steal as an envoy because NPCs don't react to it in any way, as well as when you harm them in any other way. Even if you accidentally set them on fire, you get no reaction. And that is so bad when you compare it to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, for example, where everything, but I mean absolutely everything, has consequences. And to be honest, games from Obsidian themselves from the past did this much better. And that actually only makes the whole thing more disappointing.
It's true, but he shouldn't say it.
I also do have some problems with the presentation. I'm just personally not a fan of the graphic style. Look how fucking beautiful this first cutscene is, and then when the game starts, you get this style. I think it's a shame, but I understand that it's a matter of taste. It's not ugly, I just hope that it would be more like the E3 trailer. But the world is really cool and the different environments are varied, with also pretty cool views every now and then. In terms of audio, it's mixed. The music is fine and atmospheric, so there's little wrong with that, but actually it goes a bit wrong in the voice acting. It's not bad, but the lip sync is not on the highest level, and you also notice quite often that all actors have done their lines separately, and because of that every conversation feels a bit staccato and the delivery is just not that great. I understand that this is not possible for every conversation during the development, but for some conversations that are really important for the story, it might have been possible.
Determined to burn out anyone who doesn't conform to Adheran ways.
We agree on one thing. The Stilgarot have declared war on the Living Lands.
That sort of thinking is precisely why my father fled the Valian republics.
What happened here is no coincidence. Their forces already have an unshakable grip on Paradis. This attack was meant to weaken us. No doubt they will circle back to finish what they started.
Technically it's all well put together. I have encountered few bugs, glitches and other issues, or you should call it those few frame drops when it gets busy. No, the game has its problems, but they are certainly not on the technical side. Avowed is a fine, nice snack that is just fine to play, and also considering it is on Game Pass from day one, it's not a bad deal, it's just fine. But the fact that that is the conclusion of an RPG from Obsidian is of course very disappointing. I give Avowed a 7, an average score for a very average game. And that brings us to the end of this review. What did you think of Avowed? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe here if you enjoyed this video. For live gameplay, you can go to Twitch, twitch.tv/gameplayofj, and don't forget to follow there too. And for more content, you can check out the suggestions on the left or the channel on the right. And for now, thanks for watching, see you in the next video, bye!